Gotcha with the weekly Pele report, October 8th of 2025, and I'm going down to the river. Oh man, what a beautiful, beautiful day. A beautiful river, a beautiful blue sky, beautiful rocks, trees, mountains, soil, you name it. Sunshine on my shoulders makes me happy. I'm going to try to make it down this trail. I don't know if I can carry this camera and walk down there at the same time, but let's see if we can check out what is behind that tree over there, right? We should get a shot going upriver. The moon is in Taurus, yeah. And how is that full moon for you? Yeah, full moon in Aries. Whoa, Nelly. A little bit of energy. Did you feel it? Did you feel it? Did you feel it? Yeah. So now she's gone into Taurus. Time to go in and consolidate, get it together, get grounded, get real, get practical. Gonna be there till Thursday, tomorrow. And then goes into Gemini. I mean, obviously hits Uranus right there and triggers that grand trine. Here's what we want to be talking about. My big thing today is the kite. The kite. Venus is going in the last degrees of Virgo, and she sextiles Jupiter today, in conjunct quincunx Chiron tomorrow. Saturday opposes Saturn. Monday goes into Libra and opposes Neptune. Tuesday trines Uranus and Pluto. I mean, this is a Venus report. We are going to, talk about love, love, love. That is what it is about today. And I love the river. But love has a lot to do with a lot of things that we're going to be talking about. So anyway, yeah. The moon does come around into Cancer by Saturday. And after that, of course, it's going to, it's going to conjunct Jupiter, make a bunch of aspects. But by Tuesday, it goes down into Leo. So, yeah. Last but not least, in terms of aspects, Pluto is dead in the water. Stop. He has gone back as far as he is going to go, baby. Stationing, turning direct on Monday. Yeah? So I'm going to be talking about the kite. And the kite is that, Venus is opposite, and you can see it. You have to go back to the chart. I actually turned the chart so that the kite is going to be straight up and down. And you can see that Venus is opposite Saturn, Neptune, and in a grand trine with Pluto and Uranus. And this is super tight. It's almost exact with so many things all within a degree. So, all right, let me talk about it. All right, everybody. So, I have to say, I have so much to say today. There's so much going on. The Sabian symbol is so long. And then I want to get into a whole AI chat GPT thing. So I'm going to break this up. And I know it's late. I'm on the West Coast now. It's 3 hours different than when I was on the East Coast. So, yeah. And life is very busy this morning. So, number one, this Pele report is probably going to show up late. And second, it's going to be long. And who cares? I'm going with the flow. I'm in my own flow, which is a little bit about what today's mantra is about, and the world, and this kite, and everything. And yeah, I mean, a kite is a complex constellation of planets. There's a lot involved, so there's a lot to talk about. And It's not just a passing thing. I mean, it will be like all weekend. I would say we're going to start feeling it even tomorrow, Friday. Those of you who are more sensitive, Saturday, Sunday, then Monday, when Venus goes into Libra, it's going to be like full on. So Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, boom, full on kite energy. I'll explain what that means. I'm going to do a part 1 and a part 2. So part 1, it's going to be just like a regular Pele report. And I'm going to say goodbye, and you can turn off and go to bed or whatever, And then I'm going to maybe move, but I'm going to come back for part 2. Because I had something happen last night that was really trippy, and I wanted to share it. So, this is not brand new, okay? I'm going to read the Sabian symbol for the very first degree of Libra, okay, which is the equinox. And Venus is going over that point right now. She's in Virgo, culminating 6 months, okay? Even more than that, as she came from Aries all the way around through Virgo, the first 6 signs. And she's doing this big shift, and boom, the next 6 months, the next 6 signs, are very, very different. So she's not the first. What we will notice is that this kite pattern, and I did talk about it before when the sun was there, but first of all, you might want to look back to August 7th. If you've got a journal or a diary or just your calendar, go back to August 7th. That's when Mars came into Libra and came into a trine with Pluto and Uranus and opposed Saturn and Neptune. August 7th. Then what? A month goes by, 6 weeks go by. Mercury comes out of Virgo into Libra, September 18th. Where were you on the 18th? Less than a month ago, right? Days later, September 22nd, right with the equinox, Sun comes over, trines Pluto, trines Uranus, opposes Neptune and Saturn, right? Right? And now, kind of pulling up the rear, the caboose of the train, Venus comes along, okay? So now, we've got Mercury and Mars in Scorpio, deep, intense relationship issues and elements and shadow coming up with Black Moon Lilith there, right? Sun and Venus, Venus going into, as of next week, Venus will be there, and then we're looking at the Sun and Venus both in Libra. Partnership, relationship, projection, love, the desire for bliss, harmony, equality, union, partnership, the team effort, the team player, communication, understanding, peace. The desire for peace in the world, in our relationships, in our own heart. This longing for peace, which can seem so distant and so far away right now, due to, in some way, shape, and form, this Saturn-Neptune that is really bringing up a lot of shit. Financially, Venus is love and money. We're looking at finances. We're looking at politics. We're looking at religion. We're looking at relationship. We are looking at this whole ball of wax right now is very, very powerful. So, let me explain the kite a little bit. The kite transformation. I should turn this around it's like this, okay? And that's the way that I put the chart. I put Venus down at the bottom. She's the tail of the kite. And she's opposite Saturn and Neptune. They are the apex of the kite. My thumbs, where my thumbs meet, okay, right? And then Uranus and Pluto. So we have a grand trine, Uranus, Pluto, Venus, okay, you know, and we have a sextile, Uranus to Saturn, Neptune, Pluto to Saturn, Neptune, and we have an opposition, okay, Venus to Saturn and Neptune. You got that? So a grand trine, right? And I mean, it's, wow, it's tying together a lot of dynamics, a lot of archetypes. That's why I said there's like so much going on to talk about, to think about, to meditate on, to reflect on. It's a time of tremendous opportunity. And that opportunity can come disguised as crisis. It can come disguised as major problems, major issues with our pocketbooks, with our relationships, with our families, with society, with politics, with war, and even Mother Nature. Yeah, the Pacific Ring of Fire lighting up with volcanoes, and the Earth herself going through tremendous change right now. I mean, thank God we've got the moon coming around into Cancer to join with Jupiter in Cancer, and we've got some water and great benefit through feeling. Yeah, through, you know, coming into our emotional body. Otherwise, this grand trine, Venus in Libra, Pluto in Aquarius, Uranus in Gemini, air. Right? Neptune in Aries, which is fire. Okay? So we've got, you know, wait until next year. Jupiter goes into Leo, Saturn goes into Aries, and it's all fire and air going on with like all the outer planets. Oh, por Dios. It's going to get really masculine. Fire and air is masculine, extrovert, yang, energy, doing, shifting, changing, do, go, ba, boop, boop. Yeah, wow. So, you know, we want to really like balance. And that's, I'll tell you what Venus in Libra and the Sun in Libra is all about. It's about balancing. So in a kite, okay, Venus is the focal point, okay? And it's the opposition to Saturn, Neptune brings in tension. It brings in polarity, projection, relationship, and therefore shadow. And so what we've got, and I've been talking about this Saturn, Neptune, because they've been conjunct all year. And the final conjunction we know is next February, where so many things will be resolved and new beginnings will emerge. But until then, the shit's hitting the fan. And we can see it hitting the fan all over the place. Just read any headline, pick up any newspaper, look at any chat box. I mean, oh man, yeah. You know, and what is it? What's happening? And here's what I want to talk about. Because the apex, the Saturn, Neptune, is where the work needs to be done. And if we do the work, our task is to ask. It's in the mantra today, right? We've got a task to do. Saturn is the taskmaster. And if we do our work, then we release, and our relationships, our Venus, our relationships are enriched. Our lives are enriched. our ability to accept ourselves, to love ourselves, to live with ourselves, and therefore to attract abundance, prosperity, love, affection, attention. It all, it's all possible. It's all doable. It's really beautiful. The outcome of this can be really beautiful. The kite is meant to fly, to transcend, to reach new heights of awareness. And the wings of the kite is Uranus and Pluto, part of that grand trine. Venus, Uranus, Pluto, grand trine. So these wings of Uranus and Pluto, let's talk a little bit about them. Pluto in Aquarius, there's no two ways about it. These next 20 years, it's truth. Truth. Not personal truth, not subjective truth, not, transient truth. Universal truth. Aquarius, 11th house. Science. True science. Mathematics. Don't fuck with mathematics. You can't. It is. There are certain foundational truths about existence that are to be revealed. And it starts now. Right? So we've got truth is one wing over here, right? Yeah? And the other, Uranus in Gemini, is discovery. It is inquiry. It is curiosity. It is interest. Interest. Being interested, to discover. Okay? And have, Uranus is lightning flashes of inspiration, of intuition, of the third eye awakening. So Uranus is liberation and freedom from the known. It's revolution. It's the future. It's letting go of the past. So here we have truth as one wing and revolution as the other wing. Our willingness to move forward. These are the wings of the butterfly, yeah? That we're going to hear about. The wings of the butterfly. It's so fantastic for the not the mantra, the Sabian symbol for today. Oh my God. It just hit me. It just came to me that this kite is like a butterfly. And Pluto and Uranus are the wings, okay? And what's the head? Yeah, the head of the butterfly. With those two little antennas, Saturn and Neptune. Wow. Very picturesque. Here's where we get serious. Because we just have to kind of deal with Neptune is, idealism. Let's just look at idealism. It's innocence, idealistic expectation, like a child looking up to their mother or father, right? Or external authority, which is Saturn, okay? And really thinking, innocently believing in democracy, in the government, in the Pope, okay, in the media, that truth will prevail and that people want the same thing and we're all in this together and there's unity of, and there's just this innocent acceptance of it's gonna be all right and I'm gonna be okay and I'm taken care of and whatever I need is gonna come to me, and things are gonna flow and blah 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 da 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 ba boo da. It's idealism. one side of Neptune. Okay, I want to deal with this idealism. And it's Saturn. Boom. Not only in the late 80s, okay, every 35 years or so, Saturn comes around and gives us realism. Idealism, realism. Yeah? The fact that it's so huge right now is that it's at the very end and the very beginning of the zodiac, which hasn't happened for tens of thousands of years. So, this is huge for everyone. So it's not just a 35-year cycle. This is much bigger than that. And Saturn is coming around and shooting holes in the hot air balloon. Okay? It's realism. No, the government is not going to save you. No, artificial intelligence is not what it's cracked up to be. No, maybe your partner is, not your romantic fantasy dream come true. No, your, whatever external authority you have been counting on to pay your bills, to tell you what to do, what's right, what's wrong, which way to go, to help you make decisions. It's just like it's crumbling right before our very eyes, is it not? The United Nations, the World Health Organization, it's like they're all full of shit. And we can expect more of this coming, okay, about how the FBI, was, doing wrong things, and the Department of Justice has been weaponized. And just look at all the BS in the EU and the United States, and it's all China. You can go anywhere. It's not like there is, there's no refuge. There's no refuge. There is no external savior, rescuer out there to save us from ourselves, to make our decisions for us, to limit our growth. Saturn is maturity. In this case, he's a wet blanket on the fire. He can come in and just, block, stop, limit, throw water on the fire. Forget the blanket, just patooey, dash our illusions, our delusions, our idealism, our hopes and dreams just are getting messed up now. And we can go into depression, we can go into despair, we can go down with that Titanic, and we can go into the depths of hell. This is a very difficult time. I'm sure the pharmaceutical companies are making a zillion, okay, on antidepressants. And the drug dealers, okay, we can numb out, okay, with, take another toke or pop another pill or, take another medicine, whatever. This, it's the desire to escape. So this is the other aspect. In one sense, yes, our idealism and our innocence is getting dashed. But also, let's look at the flip side of that coin. We're in third dimensional reality. There's two sides to everything. Everything is polarized. What else is getting messed with? What else is getting destroyed? Our illusions. Our delusions. Where we thought we could rescue somebody. Where we thought we were the savior. Where we thought we were like perfect or ideal, and we projected, he's messed up, she's messed up, I'm golden, I'm Goldilocks. I'm, the goody two shoes, right? We're also getting confronted and faced, okay, with our own shortcomings and our own humanness, our own imperfections, right? Nobody's perfect, including ourselves. And so we get to deal with our own lack, our own faults. And we can go into guilt. Saturn rules guilt. Okay? Scorpio, Mars, Lilith, Mercury, shame. I talked about this last week. This whole narcissistic kind of energy. And so, so Saturn actually can come in some ways as a refuge, in some ways as a dose of, grow up, mature, look at yourself objectively, stop your projections, lower your expectations and your demands, and come down into what? Objective reality. And what is the outcome of that? Well, it can be we come down to Venus in Libra. We come into balance, and our relationships come into balance. We are not rescuing our partners. Our partners are not going to rescue us. That's not what it's about. We are not victims. If we are victims, we need to dig ourselves out and save ourselves. We need to grow up. We need to step up. We need to have boundaries. Venus opposite Saturn. When is that exact? That's actually Saturday. Okay? Grow up. Get real. Discuss it. Talk about it. Communication. This grand trine in air is communication. We have now an opportunity. We are in transition. And that transition, I'm going to talk about it with the Sabian symbol. We are halfway through. And that first half is I, me, my subjective inner personal development. The second half is I evolve, I grow, I mature through giving and receiving, interacting. There is an interdependence. My success lies somewhat within my ability to integrate into relationship, into society, and beyond society, into cosmic spiritual realms. Ow! Yeah, baby. All right. I'll go into it a little more, but I cannot read the whole Sabian symbol. It's too long. I'm going to read part of it. What I will do is, I don't even know if YouTube is going to let me copy paste it. But I'm going to put it somewhere. You can always download the PDF from my website. I can put the link in the notes below. You hit see more on the YouTube video, and I'm going to have some links down there, and I'll try to, and I'll put it in my newsletter. I'll copy paste the whole Sabian symbol into my newsletter, if you get my newsletter, you should subscribe to my newsletter. I always say more stuff that I forgot to say in the Pele report in my newsletter. And I'll put the Sabian symbol for the first degree of Libra. Check it out. In a collection of perfect specimens of many biological forms, a butterfly displays the beauty of its wings, its body impaled by a fine dart. The keynote is the immortal archetypal reality that a perfect and dedicated life reveals. Just as the symbol for Aries 1 degree evoked the keynote of the entire first half of the cycle, differentiation out of the undifferentiated ocean of potentiality. That's the first half of the cycle. We come out of infinite Pisces and we individualize and differentiate all the way through to Virgo, right? This symbol for 1 degree of Libra reveals to the intuitive consciousness the essential character of the second hemicycle. So this is like a foretelling. So it's not just right now and this week's Pele report and what's going on now, and it's next week it'll be something different. We're actually talking about the next 6 months, right? You get that? The second half of the hemicycle. In the yearly cycle, we have reached the equinox, the symbolic time of bringing in the harvest in preparation for winter in the northern hemisphere. It is the time consecrated to the seed, just as the spring equinox is consecrated to the germ, the new rise of life, which informs the growth of individual organisms. The symbol for this degree of the fall equinox thus describes a perfect form, the result of the metamorphosis of worm or caterpillar, right, into butterfly. A process, the symbolism of which has so often been used to indicate to humanity the possibility of our being transformed into more than man or woman. Yeah? The transhuman being, the true initiate, the adept, the perfect, the Atman, the Buddha. I add in a little bit of my own stuff. The perfect butterfly is impaled by a fine dart. The original notation of what the clairvoyant had seen indicated, this is very interesting, and it's in quotes, a butterfly made perfect by a dart through it. Ouch. Suggesting a process of perfection through sacrifice. Wow. No sooner do we get something than we want to give it away. No sooner is our cup filled than we need to empty it. No sooner do we learn something than it's time to teach it. No sooner are we mature than we become an elder and give it away. I mean, Aries to Virgo, and this last period, Venus through Virgo, is perfecting our work, perfecting our profession, perfecting ourselves, perfecting our, and for what? To give it away, baby. Ow! As I see it, and this is Dane Rudyard, not me, the dart can hardly be said to have made the butterfly perfect. But it keeps it perfect by killing the living organism. The impaled butterfly is preserved by the dart, which fixes it in perfection for a whole cycle. It makes an archetype of it, thus escaping the normal process of dying and decay. We talked about that last week. The butterfly form, the perfection, is kept. It is kept in the mystical Shambhala, where it is said the pattern of man is kept. I love this stuff, man. The perfect butterfly thus represents the outcome of the process of occult discipleship, symbolized by the sign Virgo. From then on, a new process begins, that of collectivization. At the very core of that new process, the perfect form of man must remain as a standard of value if this process is to be valid and meaningful. I told you this was long. I'll finish it up. This is the symbolical transfiguration. At the Mount of Transfiguration, Jesus, the Son of Man, was impaled by the ray of divine light, making of him a son of God. It was at this very moment that he learned of the crucifixion awaiting him. Thus, the merely human individual is made sacred, becoming the pure embodiment of an archetype. I don't know if that resonates for you like it resonates with me, with my Catholic upbringing and seminary training to be a priest. But, whoosh, I think that the church and humanity has misunderstood Christ. So I am no longer that, okay? However, I do believe in Christ consciousness, very much symbolized by Chiron, who was also crucified, died and was buried and resurrected, just like Dionysus, just like Osiris, there is this Christ consciousness that involves, okay, this ending of, right, this egoic separation and this descent of divine illumination, which has to do with Neptune, and it has to do so much right now with Neptune going back into Pisces to join together with Saturn And we know that Christ brought in this age of Pisces. He was a Pisces, a double Pisces. There was a Jupiter-Saturn conjunction in Pisces at the time of his birth. We have his chart. I mean, so you get this whole energy of Neptune and Pisces, and it does have to do with crucifixion, sacrifice, victim, martyrdom, you name it. There is a crucifixion, but it's almost like we don't need to go through it. How do I put this, There is a resistance to loss if we believe that this is all there is, that Saturn is all there is, that time, space, material gain, material loss, fame, fortune, whatever, that if we believe that this is all there is, then we go down with the Titanic, and when we die, it's over, and we can fear death and resist death and hold on to our love and our possessions and our, and try to control and dominate our relationships, or try to, come in and I don't know. It's like, hold on. Too much for too long. And then it's painful. Whereas, if we see this as a cyclical process that is never ending, and there is reincarnation, and we are coming back again and again and again and again to realize consciously more truth. Coming down the hill, actually, I have this image. Truth. Let's look at truth as an egg. And we realize this truth. Okay? The truth of ourselves. And I talk about truth in this week's mantra. Okay? I realize my truth. Let's just say you're lucky enough to have a revelation of who and what you truly are. Right? My truth. I discover my truth as a man, as a human, as Kaipacha, as a being, as an egg, right? Guess what? That egg exists and is nested within a larger truth, the nest. Yeah? And then you realize, the truth of the egg in the nest. And that nest is held within a tree, a larger truth. And that tree grows out of a planet, which is a larger truth. And that truth of the planet, of Gaia, right, exists within a larger truth of the solar system. And that truth of this greater, immense reality of the solar system exists within a galaxy. There is galactic truth. And that galactic truth exists within a universe of truth. And that universe of truth exists within the metaverse. You get what I'm saying here? There's no end to truth. And love. We can look at the nature of love. There is personal love. There is brotherly and sisterly love. There is, a compassionate, love for the poor and the innocent and the helpless. And then there is, universal love and galactic love, of extraterrestrials and multidimensional realities. And I mean, do you get it? I mean, it's just like, so we're never going to, there's no end. There's no end to this kind of game. Fuck that. I can love without losing myself and be loved just as I am. My task is to ask and decide what's true, not live out another's dream. I know, it doesn't rhyme. I tried to make it rhyme. It doesn't rhyme, but it is a mantra. And, you know, this is coming into balance. The Sun in Libra, Venus in Libra. So I talked about the narcissist, right? Last time. Full moon in Aries. Boom. We also have the narcissist, Aries with Libra, the empath. Right? And we can also be too much of a savior, of a rescuer, of a codependent, of my meaning or my identity or I can lose myself in partnership and relationship, just as I can lose myself in myself. The narcissist loses themselves in themselves. The empath can lose themselves in the other. So what we can do here, right, you know, is come in to find. You know, Libra is about balancing the scales. I say it's about it's stopping the pendulum from swinging. Totally myself, totally the other. Totally myself, totally the other. And it comes, and ideally, we can come into a place of balance. We're not blaming our partners. We're not blaming ourselves. We're not in a place of shame and guilt. We're in a place of inquiry. We're in a place of Uranus curiosity. Let's get into that other wing. Yeah, where we really discover and come into our truth. And we can be loved as we are when we love ourselves as we are and accept our faults, our illusions, our delusions, you know, our fears. We come into a place of Jupiter in Cancer, totally loving our humanity. It's almost like we have to do that in order to fulfill the second half of the hemicycle, right? In order to come out of our cocoon into relationship and partnership, you know, with all of who we are, you know, to ultimately give our whole truth to humanity and the universe is, wow, you know? So it's really our task to ask and determine, you know, what's true. And then we're not counting on the government or the Pope or the partner or the parent, you know, or the preacher. What it's like, no. I'm not going to be fooled again. We don't get fooled again. That's a song by The Who that could be for this week. But this week I really chose two songs. Number one, All You Need Is Love, but I think I've done that one before. How Deep Is Your Love? I know it's corny. It's by the Bee Gees. You know, and it comes to me on. Anyway, I'm not going to sing it. But, you know, how deep is your love? How deep is your love? How able are we to show up for ourselves, but also for each other, for our partner, for the world at large? So this kite is, and this week can be a time where, yeah, the truth is revealed, things fall apart, we're let down. This relationship's not what I hoped for, what I thought. You're not what I hoped for and thought. This country's not what I hoped for. I mean, blah, 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 blah. But understand, it's all a setup for us to come into, my God, I've got to decide for myself. I've got to stand for myself. I've got to create a life that I love. I've got to, really see this person and relate, and show up in this relationship in my truth. Not being a victim, not being a martyr, and not being a selfish narcissist. But really doing the dance. The dance of give and take. Ow! You cannot live another's dream. I've tried it. It fails, and it gets worse and worse and worse. The more you try to please, the more you try to be what you think somebody else needs or wants, and you're going to make them happy by modifying your behavior. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't go there, man. It never works. And everybody ends up miserable. I can love without losing myself. If I keep trying and practice. And be loved just as I am. My task is to ask and decide what's true. Not live out another's dream. Namaste. Aloha. So much love. Ow!